Hello, everybody, and welcome back again. This is my second episode of Tennis Legends from the Past, and today, with great joy and pleasure, I have to pick my favorite player of all time, and that's Andre Agassi, the guy that really made me watch tennis on regular basis. Because when he came to the professional tours, the ATP professional tours in 1986, I was 9 years old. I saw him on some tennis match on Swedish television, and I just got mesmerized by this American guy. He had this colorful outfit. He was had his long hair, and it soon came out that it was a wig. But anyway, and this good, nice outfit that I liked, especially his Nike shoes. Later on, actually, I bought one of those shoes, and I still have those as a souvenir from the past in my wardrobe. I can't use it because it's not the right size for me, to be honest. But anyway, this video is about Andre Agassi, the guy that started the American power tennis boom in the late 80s, together with guys like Pete Sampras, Jim Courier, and Michael Chang, etc. We had Todd Martin, David Wheaton, a couple of other Americans that were the new power generation. Because before that we had this graceful style, we had some grinders, but when these guys came to court, they had these power serves, power ground strokes, and everything that we see today. We had more finesse and elegance back in the days with McEnroe, Edberg, etc. and hard grinders, hard hitters like Lendl and Aaron Krickstein and Jimmy Connors, of course. And then we had some tactical player like Miroslav Mechir and the great Mats Wilander. And I guess it was something new when he came on court. He has always been a superb talent, because he was considered as a special talent at 5 and a wonder kid when he was 5. He's the purest ball striker of the most natural, purest ball striker of all time. The best clean hitter I've seen. We have a bunch of other dudes that hit the ball clean and super, but no one is as natural as Andre Agassi. You will never see a player like him hit the ball the way he did. And when he was in his early teenage years, I think he was 11 or 12, maybe he was younger, he went to this famous tennis academy that Nick Bollettieri held, who was the best tennis academy in the world at that time. His father only had money for 3 months, so he went there to Nick and said, I want my kids to play here. He started out, and after 30 minutes, Nick said to his father, take your money back, he is here for free. He said that he has never seen such talented player like Andre in his life. So that was a wise move, and later he dropped out school to focus his career on tennis. And Andre Agassi's career has been full of dips and high peaks, as we all know. And he met working players in the beginning like Lendl, Edberg, Wilander. Maybe you can add Connors in that section too. And he's academic class player like Jim Courier, who was a really hard worker at contrary to Agassi. Agassi lived more on his talent, but in the late stages of his career, he turned it around. He started to improve his tennis more, but because Agassi doesn't have to improve much in tennis skills wise, except he developed his serve more and hit his and he the only thing that I think that I've seen that he has been better on from his early stage of his career was his fitness and mental game. And he has also, the most important thing, he played smarter after a while, because he struggled in the beginning. He didn't let the setbacks become a nightmare, because in his first 3 Grand Slam finals, he was the expected winner in all of these 3 Grand Slam finals. 2 at French Open, when he lost his first Grand Slam to Andres Gomez from Ecuador, I think, and the second one against Pete Sampras in US Open the same year, 1990. And later on, I think it was in 91 or 92. 91 it was in French Open, where he was 2-1 sets up against Jim Courier, but he lost that match also. And everybody thought, will this guy ever win a Grand Slam? And since Agassi had some difficulties with authorities, he didn't play at Wimbledon for 2 or 3 years. I think it was between 88 and 93 years he didn't play because he didn't like the All England dress code and stuff like that. He was like a rebel at that time. He had some issues with, like I told you, authorities. He actually, in the beginning, he said he didn't like to play tennis because they pushed him so hard. He didn't get to enjoy it. He always had this game in him, but eventually, I guess he learned to handle the pressure and stuff like that. And when you least expected, he won his first Grand Slam final at Wimbledon, a place where he didn't expect Agassi to win. Everybody thought he had the best chances on clay court because he was such a clean hitter, and on hard courts. But anyway, Agassi proved everybody wrong and won that epic final in 1992. I saw that match live in front of the television. He met Goran Ivanisevic from Croatia. I'm going to talk a bit later about that match. But anyway, what is Agassi's strength as a tennis player? We all know he has the ground strokes. He has the best one of the best backhand down the line shots in history together with Novak. He has a superb flat forehand, a cross-court forehand that he can dictate the game with, especially the same with his backhand. He has developed his serve through the years. He's not a serve bomber like Pete Sampras. He has a decent serve with spin. He had some variation, but he didn't won his mostly of his point on his serve, to be honest. And he was weak mentally in the beginning, but later, when he had Brad Gilbert as a coach, who, by the way, started to work for Agassi in 1994, he did a superb job with Agassi and allowed him to dictate the points from the baseline, make his opponent rush from corner to corner, and just use his fitness and body strength to outplay them. Because at that time, in tennis in the 80s and 90s, we had different bunch of players. And when Agassi won the Wimbledon 1992, you didn't see a baseliner win a Wimbledon until Lleyton Hewitt won it 10 years later. And I think before Agassi, you haven't seen a Wimbledon win by a baseliner since, I think it was Jimmy Connors in 83 or something, because he's a solid baseliner. And before that it was Björn Borg. So it's very amazing. At that time nobody expected him to win. They had Boris Becker, Stefan Edberg, they had Michael Stich, they had Pete Sampras, and Ivanisevic, who had made a couple of good runs there before his loss in the final in 1992 and later on in his career. People didn't expect Andre Agassi to win that tournament. But what did he do? He beat two former Wimbledon champions. He beat Becker and McEnroe on his way to the final. McEnroe, who did his last good tournament in the ending of his career, and he beat John McEnroe in the semifinal actually. So McEnroe played some superb tennis that year in that tournament. Yes, so Agassi's baseline game has always been his famous trademarks. His clean shots from the baseline where he hit winners. He was like he was nicknamed the Punisher because he punished everybody from the baseline. That was his nickname. And I have never in my life seen a better baseline player. Some of you will say Nadal, Djokovic, etc. But I have seen all of these great players. It was different times back then. The courts were much faster. They had different equipments, etc., etc. And together with Novak Djokovic, this will gonna make you laugh maybe also, but I think still Andre Agassi has the best returns in the world I've seen. Maybe Novak Djokovic, I won't argue against you if you say Novak has the better returns. It's either way. My pick is Agassi, and it's not nostalgic. I'm not nostalgic here. He returned much harder serves from the baseline. The ball was more different, but Novak, he has the better angles. He can return. He is better returner than Agassi on first serves. That I can give Novak. I've never seen a guy that is more elastic and has more who is standing and reading the ball right when somebody is going to serve like Novak Djokovic. So I will give that to Novak Djokovic, of course. But otherwise, I think Andre Agassi is the best I've seen in that area. But anyway, all credits to Novak. This is not his video, so I'm going to continue with Andre Agassi, because of all of the videos I've done earlier here on YouTube, there are many videos here, but this is the one that I like and I was looking forward to do, because I had this episode of Great Tennis Legends in my head long time ago, but I thought to myself I will wait to the end of the season, and now I'm on vacation, so I have some time here. I can relax. I can do what I do. So here is, anyway, we'll continue with this. Through his career, Andre Agassi, he didn't go down under like many people did. Especially Andre Agassi, he didn't play there for the first 8 years of his career, and in his first attempt in 1995, he won Australian Open and in his first attempt. And it later on became his most successful tournament. He won the tournament there 4 times, 95, 2001, 2000, 2001 and 2003. He won there 4 times. He won twice at US Open and lost 4 finals there. He won US Open 1994 against Michael Stich. And 1999 he won again. I forgot, I think it was a French, Clement or someone, if I can remember correctly. Or maybe that was anyway, he won at Wimbledon once against Ivanisevic, and he won in the French Open when he completed his career Grand Slam against Ukrainian guy Medvedev, who was up 6-2, 6-1 in the first 2 sets. It was very windy conditions that day. I remember that match. It's still 20 years from now. I remember when Andre Agassi completed his Grand Slam of his career. The 99 final in US Open was against Todd Martin, I remember. And his victories in Australian Open is against Pete Sampras, the only time he beat him in a Grand Slam final in 1995. And later on he won against Rainer Schüttler, where he only dropped 5 games in 2003. And 2001 he won against a French dude, Clement, and in year 2000 he won against Yevgeny Kafelnikov, the hard-hitting Russian who was a former #1 and a French Open champion that I can recall. And Andre Agassi also won 60 titles in his career in total, and 17 of them were Masters, and he's 4th behind, I think, if you count the current Masters, behind the top, the big 3, Federer, Djokovic and Nadal. And he has won 2 Davis Cup, and he has been number ranked on a couple of different occasions, and in 1990 he won the ATP finals. So we can say this: Andre Agassi is the first and second guy, was the first guy to win Grand Slam on 3 different surfaces: grass, hard court and clay. He completed his career Golden Slam with an Olympic gold medal in Atlanta in 1986, when he beat the Spanish clay specialist Sergio Bruguera 6-2, 6-3, 6-1, and he won the World Tour Finals in 1990. And he's the only guy that has a career Golden Slam. I think they name it Golden Slam or career Golden Slam, when you have all the Grand Slam, the Olympic gold medal and the World Tour Finals. If Nadal accomplish that, or Novak and Federer, Novak and Federer win the Olympic medals, they will do that. If Nadal win the World Tour Finals, he will be in that with Andre Agassi in that section too. All right. I'm not gonna keep this video super long, even though even if I can talk about for Andre for hours. But I'm gonna name some of his best matches in his career. And the first one I think recently is his quarterfinal match against James Blake in the US Open in 2005, which was his last tournament. I think he lost the final there against Roger Federer, and it was one of the greatest matches in US Open history. Was the match between him and his fellow countryman James Blake. It was a superb, exciting, tight thriller. And the other one I think is his match against Pete Sampras in the Australian Open semi-final in 2000, where he later won. It was a superb 5-setter where Pete's tank emptied in the 5th set, where Agassi, I think he won the last set 6-1, but before that match, the first 4 set was high quality tennis. And his third best match I've seen that I recall is actually a match he lost, and that was against Pete Sampras in US Open semi-final, quarterfinal I think it was. I think it was in 2000 or 2001, where 4 of the sets went to tie-break. Andre Agassi won the first set in tie-break, and then later on Pete Sampras won 7-6, 7-6, 7-6. And then of course the best memory I have from a tennis match that Andre Agassi played, because I have many, but this is my all-time favorite, and that was in the Wimbledon final 1992, where he played against Goran Ivanisevic, the serve bomber from Croatia. He served nuclear bombs, that guy. I've never seen a guy that could serve aces with such an ease as Goran Ivanisevic. In that final, in that 5 sets final, he served 38 aces but still lost, and the match went to Andre Agassi's favor in 5 sets. It was 6-4, 6-7 I think, and then Andre Agassi won the 3rd set 6-4, and in the 4th set Ivanisevic won 6-1, I remember, and in the last set Agassi broke him in the middle of the set I think and won 6-4 and won his first Grand Slam. And I was shocked. I couldn't imagine, I couldn't understand how he won this match. But anyway, and then Agassi had some ups and downs in his career. He had some personal issues, maybe you know that. And in 1998, he fell off the ranking map in such deep, so deep that he was around 141 in the world, and nobody thought that he was gonna come back. I had some a little bit hopes, but after that I don't know exactly what happened. But he started to play challenges tours to get his rankings points and get some more training. He started a superb training program with his trainer Brad Gilbert, and he went on to be more fit than ever. And after that, the upcoming 4 years became the most successful in his year, if you count how he ended these last years of his career. So that was an amazing comeback for him. The greatest tennis comeback, you can say, from my opinion. All right, and what can we more say about Andre Agassi? We can talk a little about his Grand Slam stats. He has 1 win in Wimbledon, 1 final and 3 semi-finals. And at the French Open, he lost 2 finals, once against Medvedev, and he had two other semi-finals. One that I remember when he lost to Mats Wilander, I think it was in 1988. A match that I remember I saw from the hospital. I was sick. I was at the hospital. I saw that match. And in the Australian Open, he has 4 wins in 4 finals and 2 semi-finals. And US Open, it's a not so good stats. Even though he has 2 victories, he has lost 4 finals, 3 of them against Pete Sampras, 1 against Roger Federer. He lost against Jim Courier at the French Open, against Andres Gomez in French Open also. and he has lost to Pete Sampras in a superb performance in a Wimbledon also that I remember. I think it was 1999 or 1995. But that match, Pete Sampras was untouchable. The greatest first strike server in the world I've seen, because he had two first serves, to be honest. All right, a little bit stats head-to-head from his competition against his players on the a little head-to-head stats against top players that he has faced through his career. He trails 14-20 against Andre Agassi. He trails 2-6 against Ivan Lendl. 3-8 against Roger Federer, and he met Rafael Nadal twice and lost, but he was about finished at that time. He has 6-3 against Stefan Edberg, 10-5 against Patrick Rafter. He trails 5-7 against Jim Courier. He lost many of those important matches early in his career against him, and 15-7 to Michael Chang, and 10-4 against Boris Becker. So Andre Agassi, to summarize this video, he has won all the Grand Slams. He has an Olympic gold medal. He has 17 Masters. He has 2 Davis Cup titles. And he's the best ball striker I've seen, with pure, clean, the most pure, clean hitter in the world. He's down the line backhand, his backhand, where he dictates the pace, the match, is one of the best in business I've ever seen. Perhaps the best two-handed backhand, together with Novak's, to be honest, and Rafael Nadal, of course. Maybe Jimmy Connors also. Those guys were superb with their backhand, but Andre Agassi, as I told you before, is my all-time favorite, the guy that made me watch tennis. And because early in his career he could lose tight matches, he could play terrific for 1 or 2 or 3 2 sets and then lose in a Grand Slam. But when he played his best tennis, he blew everybody off court, even the best. And he took some great steps, huge steps in the beginning of his career. He climbed to the number 3 or 4 spot early in his career, and he has been there. He was there for a couple of times, but he didn't win majors, and he won his first ATP final in Brazil in 1987 on his second year as a pro. After he did some good results, and later on he was rewarded with his first Grand Slam final, but after that he some kind of disappeared. You couldn't trust his consistency level. He had the tennis in him, but his mental and fitness wasn't there. But anyway, God help him, he came back on track. He won all of these Grand Slams, 4 at Australian Open, 2 at US Open, 1 at Wimbledon, and 1 at the French Open, which makes it 7 Grand Slams. He lost 8 finals, like I told you earlier. So he's a pretty decent. I think Andre Agassi, he could have achieved more in his career if would have put more focus. But you can't force a tennis player if you don't have the joy, if you have some personal issues. So I think that Agassi would easily have won a couple of more Grand Slam. And I even count his losses to Pete Sampras, because in all of those matches Pete Sampras was the much better player in my opinion. He deserved those win. But otherwise I think he could have grabbed a couple of more Grand Slams here and there, to be honest. And he didn't play in Australian Open for his first 8 years of his career. So these guys, in my opinion, was an underachiever. He could have achieved a lot more than he has done. But hey, it's always easier to be wise afterwards. I'm happy to have seen him. I've seen him in Stockholm Open in 1994, and I remember not all the matches, but I remember I saw him there, and I saw a glimpse of his brilliant tennis. Alright folks, thanks for watching, take care and bye bye.